record one more time. How many of you guys are doing MM100? I should see like almost every hand up. How many of you are sharing it on your social media right now? Yeah, that's what I like to see. We are coaches. We are here for a reason. And even if you're not doing MM100 right now, it doesn't mean that you can't be talking about it. It doesn't mean that your team and your coaches and the people that you surround yourself aren't doing it. And it's an amazing program, and it can maybe not be for you right now, but it might be for the people that are watching your social media journey. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about tonight. So let's back up a little bit and say hi. My name is Sandy DeWolf. For those of you that don't know me, I have been a coach now for just over 3 years. I am the founder of Evolve Wellness. I am a direct downline of Boomerang Wellness, and that is what brings me here today. I have been a diamond coach now for quite some time. I'm actually a lifetime 1-star, and I sit as a diamond. I think it's important that we are transparent in what we do in our business and our journeys. I am also an SC5 All-Star Legend, which is kind of mind-blowing to me. I've helped 3 people a month for 36 consecutive months. And I just, didn't even want to be a coach when I got started. So it really does blow my mind, that statistic. And it's probably one of the ones that I'm sort of the most proud of, because ranks are ranks, but being able to help people get healthy is truly why I do what I do. So a little bit about me is that I'm a registered nurse by trade. I work in a small town in Alberta, but I have 12 years of experience, and I've worked in some really big city hospitals, as well as some intense places like emergency room and pediatric intensive care. And I nursed for like 8 years before I got a hold of my own health. And that really was what started my journey with Beachbody, was that I was burning out only 8 years into a career that I loved. I was gaining weight steadily because I was constantly reaching for Timbits and donuts and quick nutrition on the go. I was an absolute skeptic of Shakeology, and I gave my then coach a really hard time about it because I didn't want a weight loss shake, and I didn't want to rely on something for my weight loss. I wanted something that was healthy and natural, much like the rest of you guys, and that's why you're here. And so when I got introduced to Beachbody, I was completely like, I don't need a Beachbody. I don't want a Beachbody. The name, really sets me off. So I feel like I am one of those promoters that want to show you that a name is just a name, and it can be so much more than that. We have a small team out of Evolve Wellness, and I love it that way. We are all passionate about health promotion and living a balanced, healthy life for the right reasons versus the scale over, setting examples for our children, our families, our kids. I work with a lot of moms who are constantly taking selfies with their kids, and I just love that, because as a registered nurse, I try to put part of my brand and my marketing into health promotion. I have taken care of sick people in sick beds for way too long, and it feels good to promote something healthy for once, to try and prevent heart disease and strokes and bowel issues and cancers and things like that. So that is where I try to remind myself about my journey when it gets a little bit hard, or when people cut down Beachbody, or when they always have this resistance to it. I just bring it back to being a health promoter, and I have an option to promote your health, and what they do with that option is totally up to them. So when it comes to my coaching journey, you guys, I know the accountability is the number one thing that I get out of it. I have lost 60 pounds total with Beachbody and have kept it off for 2 full years. I lost that weight in a year, about 5 pounds a month, which is healthy, natural weight loss. I had doctors tell me I looked gauntly because I had lost weight. I had people say, what kind of quick fix are you doing? And it took a long time for me to build the confidence to say exactly what I was up to. I used to hide the fact that I did these at-home workouts. Thank you, Morgan. I appreciate that. I used to hide the fact that I drank Shakeology. I just said it was my daily shake. And it took me a long time to build that confidence, but it took time in learning about Beachbody, the programs, Shakeology, putting time into education to really understand it, to build confidence around it. So I encourage you to do the same thing. It's important to know what Shakeology does, what Energize does, what Recover does. It's important to be educated, just like I do in my nursing career when it comes to meds and treatments. It's the same thing with your Beachbody business. So it's super important to be educated in when you're in the products that you're representing. So a lot of what I try to do, I named this call Working My Biz and Leading with Love, because that's really what I try to do on a regular basis. If it's being in their inbox, if it's making a post, if it's having a conversation with them, I always try to put myself in their shoes and ask if I am leading with love or I'm leading with a sale. Does it sound salesy? Are your messages coming off that way to you? Because they sure as heck are on the other side of the inbox. So I always want to sort of read it back, and if I feel that it's got that salesy edge to it, a lot of the times I'll delete it and even come back to it in a later time. One of the ways that I do that is by making sure that I listen to my challengers and my customers, even my clients or people you're talking to on social media. If they're reaching out to give you some love, take in that love and not just jump back at them with, well, you should join me. Ask them what they love about watching in your social media. Ask them where they may struggle. It's always important to be more interested in them than interesting in yourself. Yes, you're going to say, I've had great success with Shakeology because I haven't been sick in 3 years. I'm a registered nurse at the bedside, and I have not been sick in 3 years. I can honestly say that because it's true. So those type of statistics are what will build your trust in your business. And that's why I feel like I've come as far as I have, is because I've always been honest with people what it does for me first. I've kept 60 pounds of weight loss off because I have committed to every single program launch. I have done 8 Beachbody programs, I think, and I have documented them through my social media. So it's not just about coming in, doing one program and being able to speak confidently and openly about it. Yes, you're going to be able to speak what it's done to you in the way of building confidence and doing things like that. But how do you recommend other programs and other things for people who may not be at your fitness level without understanding the other programs? And so sometimes that takes stepping away from one and doing another and getting out of your comfort zone. I know when I started Core de Force, I was like Bambi on ice, you guys. I had my stance backwards for almost 10 days. I didn't know what I was doing, and I came out of that program feeling like badass and so proud. And so I encourage you, even if you step into a program not loving the trainer, to fight your way through it at least halfway, to give it a really good college try before you move on to something else, because you grow through discomfort, right? It's showing you something in your life. So that's one of the ways that I'm able to connect with these people, is because they might not need Morning Meltdown 100 right now, but you bet I know what Clean Week has to offer, or maybe they're looking for an MMA style workout or hammer and chisel. I did hammer and chisel and loved it because of the difference between the weightlifting and the cardio aspect. I trained for a fem sport competition with that program. And so and I had people watching my journey that said I was going to kick my friend's butt in this program because she was doing like maybe 2 days a week heavy lifting with a personal trainer, and I was every single day with personal trainers in my basement. And sure enough, I rocked it in comparison, because consistent exercise goes so far. So when you're talking about your business and you're reaching out to people, make sure that you ask them what they're looking for, where they struggle, what they're needing. And then when it comes to answering them back, that's probably one of the hardest things of our job, is being not doing the whole verbal diarrhea of everything we have to offer, but knowing that you're doing them a disjust or disservice if you don't at least tell them everything that they have. It's just like somebody giving you a dessert menu and blocking out everything but their favorite thing. That's not what we're here to do. But it's telling the people reading on the other side or listening on the other side why you're giving them this information and that they're able to do what they want with it. Taking those extra few minutes to tell them that you're hearing what they're saying, you hear that they struggle with nutrition and time. And so your recommendation is the workouts, the short workouts, as well as a nutrition program. Or I love Energize for this reason. I think it's a good time for you to add this in because you struggle with mornings. Okay, but tell them that you're hearing them. Be open and honest and trustworthy, because you're truly recommending it because it's changed your life and what you love about it. I'm not going to turn around and recommend creatine or maybe the Ultimate Fix or Ultimate Reset because I can't get those in Canada. I've already had people asking me about collagen because I throw it in my stories and you can't get it in Canada. So it's like, okay, back the truck up. I want them to know that I'm using the product, but it's also really tough to be able to recommend it to them when I can't physically get it to them yet. So always paying attention to how you're leading and why and what you're saying to them will come off as caring instead of as salesy. I hope that is making sense. And then I just wrote that by being transparent and building their cart. So I tell them all the time that I'm going to make them a cart specific to their needs and what you're putting in it and why, and tell them that they have options, that they can manipulate it from their side just so that it's transparent and that people aren't confused about why it's happening or why they're opening a $200 or a $300 cart when you guys talked budget of $200 or something like that. So telling them what you're doing ahead of time really does help them not go like, at the end because they feel like they've been sold to. And that's exactly kind of what I'm getting at with this call. And don't forget that the journey with your clients and customers starts after the sale. It's not about the challenge pack, you guys. It's about building a sustainable community of support and love and guidance. And that's the one thing that I have done and I feel very confident and proud in is I do run a continuous group called Evolve Wellness, and then I have my coaches on the side. I always say that it may not be your best business strategy out there because you want your coaches to spread their wings and fly, but I love the community that I've built and I love the technique that they go about building their businesses because we jive and they lead with love and transparency and they're not just looking for the sales, and that's what I love about my team. So because it took me so long to get on here, the time is shorter, but I wanted to allow you guys to ask me any and all questions. I'm an open book about my coaching journey. I know a lot of you have watched from afar, and I am so, in gratitude to all of you being here tonight. And so I wanted to open the floor a bit. And if you have any questions, please, 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 please ask away. I'd love to answer them. You can unmute yourself. You can put them in the chat. We have about 7 minutes. Nothing, you guys. Just peeking through.
What would be your tips on people working full-time and working this business? Like, you've had a lot of success and you are busy, you're working. Yeah,
I think there's a call coming this month on that exact topic, and it's one of the reasons I kind of stayed away from it because I didn't want to, take it away because, yeah, I've worked full-time throughout my whole business. Right now I'm a 0.8, which is a little bit less than I work 8-hour shifts, but my biggest tips is work in pockets of time. If you're sitting on a shift where you're bored or you're on your break and you're sitting in a break room that's bitching and complaining about life, remove yourself from the break room and go and work your business. I create posts and stuff on my night shifts, on my breaks, instead of watching Netflix. I've worked in the bathroom. And the biggest thing is time. It takes time for people to build trust with you, but because I've shown up authentically for 3 years, they're just like, you know what, Sandy, I'm ready and I want to work with you because you've been here and you've shown up and you've shown us your goods and your bads and your uglies, and they relate to that, which is awesome. So that would be my biggest thing is you find those pockets and you use them appropriately. because you're not scrolling. You got to make sure that you're using them appropriately. Anybody else? How do I balance shift work and the business? As a fellow nurse, I have a hard time finding balance. Okay, and what are the top things I do for my business each day, no matter what? The top thing would be I show up on social media. I make a post every single day, usually, and I try to at least put up a few clips of stories, and I'm authentic. So if people are commenting, I always comment back. If I can get it into their inbox, I'm always moving the conversation into their inbox so that I can genuinely get to know them, because that's really what I'm trying to do. If I want to work the business, it's going through my stories, going through my likes, going back to posts that got a lot of traction, and talking to those people who are already watching you. It makes life so much easier. I actually find balancing shift work in the business, you know, I've had 3 years of practice with it, I guess. The biggest thing is if you show up authentically and talk about how difficult shift work is, people relate to you and you connect with people who are doing the same things. There are times where I really wish I could do like a morning workout with my tribe every single Monday to Friday, but that's not the way I run. And so I try to look back at how I can make a morning routine into a daily routine. And I share that with the people that are watching, because I've got a lot of shift workers. But again, I use my time wisely. Me first, like I get up and it's a daily routine with, you know, morning and PD and my workout first, because you guys got to fill your own cups before you can pour into others. And then I use the time in my breaks or my shifts where I have some downtime to work my business when it comes to putting up the post or answering messages. I've also put a lot of limits of only checking my inbox once or twice in a day, and that's it, because you got to put those boundaries on so that you're not constantly a slave to your notifications. My best advice would be for new coaches. Okay, so how do I track potential clients? Do you use anything specific? I'm laughing at that because I'm really bad at it. And how do you balance shift work? Okay, no, I did that one. How do I track clients and potential clients? You know what, you guys, I'm kind of old school. I've tried lots of different ways. I'll have notes, days where I go through notes and notes, and I'll go back to those for follow-ups. I like to scroll to the end of my messengers and find out conversations I've had. I'm not, because I don't sit down and do power hours. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm one of the worst trackers, and Marie knows that, bless her heart. It's not a good practice. I will tell you that. Start tracking your names now. Get a system that works for you, pen or paper, paid for it via email and Streak. If you can get that down now, it will help you in your business in the long run. Once I have a new challenger, do I connect only through the challenge group or one-on-one as well? So I send a welcome email with all of like my Shakeology base recipe. I'll send in how to take progress photos. I'll tell them if this is how they want to. Thanks, Jamie. I know we all struggle with it and we all have different ways of doing it. That's for sure. It's part of the reason. I think part of the reason for that, Jamie, is that we're a mobile business. So it's really hard to, you know, because I'm like making graphics in the Sobeys store, right? Anyways, I connect with them through the email first, and I offer them a one-on-one call. Some take it on, some don't. I have a tips and trick video that I put in that email for them to be able to navigate it. If they watch that, I think it really helps them. And then in my community, I have started this summer to do a new challenger call once a month, at the beginning of the month or the end of the month. I've only done a couple now. And those are allowing me to answer questions, to share my screen, to show them, you know, and of course I show up there every single day. And so they can see, I tell them all the time I usually write longer posts with my logs, and I tell them, if you want what I've got, you got to do what I've done. And that's committing every single day to my own workouts, tracking my nutrition, using the Ultimate Portion Fix, all of that type of stuff. And I share that authentically with them. And if they're not making those steps, that's on them. Thanks, Morgan. Yeah, yes. If you must write down who you talk to, put it out in the universe that they are meant to join you at some point in the future. I believe that 100%. And Kim, I would totally agree with you. Writing them down, it means you've connected for one reason or another. And I do tend to go through periods where I'll make huge lists and then I go back to those lists. So I'm not saying I don't do it at all, but daily consistent tracking, when I do use the tracker, I have done some test groups and stuff with Marie with the tracker, and when I use it, I love it, and I should do it more often. Number one, BB tracker. Do new coaches need all this stuff? What do you mean? Like product or just, no. No, you don't. You need the program that you're doing and social media. That's the biggest thing. Commit to your own journey, share with others, and be proud. Be proud of what we do and why we do it.
Exactly. That was my question, because with like the emails and all that, I think some people think they need that to get started, and I'm sure you didn't have that in your first 2 years.
No, and I'll be completely transparent, Morgan. That email came from my upline. They use a welcome email. I did not build it. You can tell by my graphics. I didn't grow up on a Mac computer. I'm a little bit older than a lot of you ladies on here. So it's a little tough for me, the technology stuff. Obviously, with the internet, it doesn't help. So, but no, you don't need it all, you guys. People connect with you for your own reasons, which is awesome. Yeah, Kimberly, that's perfect. That's exactly what people should do. And I love it. And it is, when I do it, that's exactly how I do it. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for hosting. I'm hoping you got, or jumping on, I'm hoping you got some value out of this. I do have to jump onto the diamond call. I'm trying to stay on track because we also have a boomerang call after that. So you don't want to get too far behind. I apologize for the technical difficulties at the beginning. You guys and your patience were amazing. Reach out at any time if you have any questions. I'm a total open book, and I love connecting with you guys. So anything I didn't cover and you want to know, feel free to jump into my inbox. Okay, have a great night.